Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets Crypto, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 11th of December. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at ctmcrypto.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 3 days. All right, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Now, not a lot to see on the weekly chart, just sideways really. In fact, actually, so far this week, it's just been purely sideways. We've got a doji there so far. On the daily chart, we are pulling back towards the daily middle band at the moment. I've got that at 89,939 and 90,059 is where the price is at the moment, so we are just above it. On the hourly chart, this still looks like a bear flag, although I would change that today, and I'll show you why on the 15-minute chart in a minute. But I think it's clearer what the flag is now, and the resistance trend line is actually here. All right, now I was talking to Matt yesterday, my crypto bird, and he was saying I was talking about my expectation that we're going to see new all-time highs on SPX, Qs, etc. And he was concerned about that because obviously he wants the flags to play out. And I had a couple of things to say. One, we've actually gone up a huge amount on equities without moving the needle, so I don't really see why that would change. And the second thing is that this is a pretty clear setup, and it's clearer now too. All right, what have we got here? This is the resistance trend line here, and look, isn't that a beauty? This is a lovely, lovely bear flag. It really is nice. Now, that doesn't mean it necessarily needs to break down. 30% of them will break up, and it can be a bottoming pattern, but the expectation is 70% of the time this will break down, and I have to say, as bear flags go, this is an extremely nice example. Also, we've got a double top here, and it's nice. And we also got a little level top here from the high we made yesterday. That's broken down. I've got the main double top support in the 87.8 area. And if that breaks down, then we got a minimum target on a breakdown in the 81.4 area. And of course, the retest to the low is at 80.6. This is a really nice setup to take us back to the low sooner in all probability rather than later. But I mean, I watch these things to see how they look as they progress, and this one has found its final resistance trend line, and that's a peach. So this is the bear flag we're looking at on Bitcoin. Does it have to break down? No. Is it likely to? Yes. And the expectation is the same as it's been all week. We're still waiting, but this setup has been improving while we've been waiting. Looking at Solana. Again, not really gone anywhere this week at all. So we did have, I was looking at this as a potential bottoming pattern, but I was explaining it had issues. And I wasn't really expecting it to play out, and it's not been so far. We are back below the daily middle band. In terms of the flag, that's a really nice flag channel. Obviously, we've not actually been doing any damage to the upside or the downside in recent days, but my expectation is again that this will break down. Let's have a quick look at this on the shorter term chart. Wait a second. All right, this is the flag here. That's flag support. And that is flag resistance, and that is a beautiful bear flag channel. So again, does it have to break down? No. Am I seeing anything suggesting here that it won't break down? No. This looks pretty nice. But I was saying this didn't look like a reversal pattern. This looked like a bear flag, and you know what? It still looks like a bear flag. All right, looking at Ethereum. Ethereum. This has been the strongest of the three, but I suspect it's still a bear flag here. But this is the only one where actually I don't have a decent bear flag channel. I'll have a quick look at this today, and I'll see. But we're slightly above the obvious bear flag resistance. But I did comment that this was the one where we had the least impressive trend line. Let's see what we've got in terms of the chart today, though. All right, hang on. All right. This would be the flag support. Do we have an obvious reversal pattern here? Not really. I could draw. Hang on 1 second. Okay, that is a potential inverted head and shoulders. This is the one that could be breaking up. And I will draw that in and put that in, and that is potentially valid. Although I would note that, of course, an IHS can just as easily break down after it breaks up, really, as break up towards the target. But in terms of a resistance trend line, hang on, wait a second. We don't have a channel here. We might have a channel here. All right, hang on. Do we have this? This would be the obvious first place to look for a trend line. Okay, that's okay. That would be overthrown though. Let's have a quick look and see if we get a channel here. Hang on. All right. Okay. Actually, we've got a perfect bull flag channel there too. And that is the final flag. Now, bear flag channel. Does this mean that this necessarily has to break down? No. But the fact is, all of these bear flag channels are nice, and the obvious expectation is that these bear flag channels will break down. 70% of the time that will be the case, and there's no particular reason at the moment to think that would be any different here. That is where I'm standing on it, and I think my expectation is that 70% or more, these will break down. They will retest the lows, and at that point, we've got another inflection point where they could continue down, depending on what's happening with equities. I think the equities issue is less of a problem, really. I'm not too worried about what happens on equities. I don't think equities is showing any signs of making new highs with great confidence. I suspect we're in the process of making a high on equities too, and I think by the time we see equities turn, which I wouldn't expect really for 2 or 3 weeks, then we will likely see crypto go down to those head and shoulder targets on Ethereum and Solana. In the meantime, they are tracking sideways, and this is just exactly what I've been saying, which is that when you've got two things which are correlated, and one of them is in the grip of a strong trend, which crypto is, to the downside, and the other one is heading off in the other direction, then it will mark time until it is time for that to be resolved. So when equities are ready to go down again, chances are crypto will complete this move. In the meantime, this looks incomplete. I've got nice bear flags across the board, and I'm expecting those to play out. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions, of which we have none. All right, everyone take care. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, but that's where I'm thinking on this, and I can see absolutely nothing here to change my mind. All right, cheers, guys.